And welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only horror movie review podcast and live stream that knows better than to talk to any door-to-door doll salesman. That being said, before we bring on Carly and Brooke, let's see what we're looking at tonight. Tonight we review Longlegs. Longlegs is a 2024 American horror thriller film written and directed by Osgood Perkins and stars Maika, Monroe, Nicolas, Blair, Underwood, and Alicia Witt. The film received critical acclaim and grossed $109 million worldwide, becoming Neon's highest-grossing film to date domestically, as well as the highest-grossing independent film of the year. In Longlegs, FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes an unexpected turn, revealing evidence of the occult. Soon, Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again. Welcome, Brooke and Carly. How are you?
Hello, fantastic. How are you?
I have never been better. The reason, because I picked this movie and I was excited to see this movie, and I gotta tell you, I was a fan of this movie.
Okay, I'm glad you wasn't disappointed. I was like, please don't be disappointed.
Well, you know what? Well, let's hear from you, Brooke. I mean, because I want to know why you want to be sure that I wasn't disappointed. What did you think of the film?
I love this film. Okay, I'm going to be honest with the both of you. It did take me 3 times to watch it because at the beginning it was kind of boring and kind of lagged on for a while, and then it got to the good part. So it took me 3 tries to watch it. But when I finally sat down and actually paid attention, this movie is amazing. The whole storyline was great, and I didn't even notice it was Nicolas Cage until I looked at the cast on it. I was like, that's him. But yeah, this movie's great. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so for everybody, don't make any kind of judgment call on this film until you watch it 3 times. You heard it from Brooke here first. But hopefully, Carly, I know you've only watched the film once. What was your take?
Oh, wow. I didn't know what to expect going in because I went into it blind like I've been doing lately.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so creepy.
Yeah.
So fantastically creepy. You know, I mean, his face, you're like, and you had some moments that were really gross, pulling back the covers and seeing the maggot covered corpses, and that was kind of gross, but awesome. It was a little slow in the beginning, but it had a lot of information, and as the pieces started clicking together, I didn't see the twist coming. Not really. Especially the very end. I did not see that coming. I enjoyed the hell out of watching this movie. It was great. It was fantastic. Nicolas Cage, Blair Underwood. I don't know the actress's name, but she did fantastic.
Maika Monroe.
Okay. Yeah. Her.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, I loved it.
Good. Well, I'm glad you both love it because I hated it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I was about to say no.
I just talked about you didn't see that coming. No, I did. I've been looking forward to this film all year. It was, again, I kind of went in knowing a little bit about it, but not much. I knew it was Nicolas Cage. I knew how he prepared for the role. I knew it was going to be a very Silence of the Lamb-esque beginning, which it kind of was. Surprisingly, maybe it's just me, but I was not bored. It did not take time for me to get into it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it goes right from this little girl in this white farmhouse in the snow with this weird station wagon and this weird stranger visiting the house, and it goes right into, and it was all shot with that kind of 35 millimeter look, which I love when they do like changes from like widescreen to letterbox to small, like, different 9mm, not 9mm, but like different kind of like ways of shooting it. So I loved like that vibe. So it kind of had me entranced from the beginning. And then when they go out to the widescreen and you see her as an adult, as an FBI agent, very Agent Starling from Silence of the Lambs, all of a sudden hot on this new case. What I will tell you this, I wanted more. If I had any complaint about this film, is I didn't get enough. And I'll tell you why. I didn't get enough of Longlegs. I did get enough of like who was the dude they were chasing to begin with that magically gave himself up after shooting, the fellow agent. Want to know more about the mom, want to know more about her. I mean, there's just like, give me more Nick Cage. And there's usually Nick Cage is like, I've had enough of you, Nick Cage, dial it back in. But in this case, I'm like, I just wanted more.
Yeah.
And I felt like Osgood was great at like giving us enough of everything. But I was like, dude, just feed me more. I just want more. Yum, 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 yum. So for me, twists and turns, I just let it happen. The dolls were creepy. The autopsy of the doll was creepy. The like weird supernatural aspect of like why all these families were being killed.
Yeah.
It just set up more questions and answers. I was telling Carly behind scenes that I watched a lot of YouTube docs on the making of the film because I wanted to see all like the top things, 10 things missed or what I missed. I mean, look, I didn't have the luxury of watching it 3 times. Probably know all the nuances of what's going on.
But did y'all notice the demon in the window?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's not just the only time we see the demon.
Yeah,
that demon shows up over and over and over again in different ways and different opacities. And is he there? Is he not there? Did I see it and blink and miss it? Was it real? Was it not? I loved that there's so many times when that the horned creature silhouette was around. I don't want to give again, this movie is brand new for streaming, so I don't want to give away the ending at all.
It's good.
But
it's good.
I think every performance was fantastic. Like I said, although Nick Cage was being very Nick Cagey.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts when like he's in a car and he's screaming all the stuff he's screaming. And I know it was a parallel to the young actress as well for what she was doing in the same car or in a car. But I was like, oh, that's very Nick Cage, what happened just right there. And I'm like, sometimes those times where it's like you really played into your own characterization of things because that's who you are as an actor. Sometimes I wish that would have been dialed back just a little bit different. But otherwise, no complaints. I loved it. I loved the coding, the very Zodiac-esque code breaking and like the mystery of why these families are dying and who's causing it, but no traces left behind. And then the weird ass dolls. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic, in my opinion. But that being said, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Carly.
Yes.
Tell me your favorite stuff. Tell me all of your favorite things.
Longlegs headbanging. Wha-pow.
Fantastic.
It was so gross. I loved it. It was fantastic. And I don't want to give away anymore because
She's like, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah, don't give it away.
How about you, Brooke? Give me like, what's your favorite? What's going on?
I've had like 5 favorites.
Oh, damn.
I'll tell you the funniest one.
Okay.
The funniest one was when she was like, Dad, that creepy guy is back again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how Longlegs exists in the world on a daily basis. As like a weird psychological, are you a killer? Are you not killer? Where are you living? What are you doing? How do you like make money? How do you eat day to day? Yeah, just weird, super weird. I will say this: there was in my research again, other than what Brooke said about the silhouette of the Satan showing up all the time. So anybody watching this on second, third viewing, you're going to see that silhouette or that shadow or that persona often. So keep a lookout for it, which really does feed into the mythos of what this movie is. but also the fact that who is Longlegs? According to my sources, Longlegs was apparently some 70s glam rocker who pledged his
Oh.
allegiance to Satan
Mhm.
to do his bidding and to do Satan's good works or bad works. And like one theory is that he constantly started getting cosmetic surgery to try to be beautiful for Satan.
Mhm.
And that the reason why he's always carrying a musical instrument, he's always singing, is that apparently he used to be a rocker back in the day, like some
wow.
David Bowie-esque type
I
of
should
thing.
have put that in there.
Yeah, these are like things that you're really not going to know. But
Yeah.
with interviews with the director, etc., there's been kind of like nuances thrown at it. I'm like, man, that's like so subtle. I don't even know if I would have known. But I'll tell
I
you what.
also did read that it was about Joan Benet too, the little girl Joan Benet that got killed. A little bit about her story too.
Oh, I did not read that.
Yeah, I read it. I was like, really?
Yeah, I mean, but what part?
I don't know. I guess dressing up the dolls. I guess dressing her up as a doll. I don't know.
But nobody was really dressed up as dolls. Just all the dolls were dressed up to look like the kids, which is creepy as hell, by the way. And I like that every time we kept seeing these weird viewpoints, like like for instance, when the pastor came to see, I think the first father, and we see it from the long shot of being in a different room. And then the priest comes to the door and starts like interacting with us as an audience, like they know us. So a lot of cool things. Again, Brooke, when you go see it for the 5th time, like really, now that you know the ending, you can really pick apart. Like, why did the priest do that? Why did he come toward the door to the room? What was he doing? Why is he acting that way? Who is he interacting with? So a lot of these things were super, super cool. I felt very bad for Blair Underwood, just FYI.
Yeah.
Although I will say that the birthday motif, like that kind of was given away a little bit at the beginning, because the whole thing is surrounding like it happened 6 days before or after the daughter's birthday. I mean, that's very well like established early on. And then we find out that there's a birthday coming up, and it's a birthday here. And so like some of it was
always the 14th birthday.
Yeah. So there was a lot of things that were like almost too on the nose. So I kind of, this is why I wanted more. I wanted more history, draw it out a little bit more, keep it a little more subtle, that we're not kind of given that. That was like really hard over my head versus like, boom, birthdays. Oh, okay. So for that, it was really like, I don't know. So I think I would have rather that than like kind of kept for me a little bit longer as an audience member. But okay, so Carly.
Yes.
Pros and cons.
Pros. The pro is Nicolas Cage in the story. Yeah. Both Nicolas and the story. Those are pros. Cons, pay attention at the beginning. Just pay attention. I don't want to say, oh, it's too slow, but there's a lot of information that's being thrown at you, and you need to really pay attention to it.
I mean,
fell off the wagon a little bit. So
okay. Yep, that's all right. We don't need that one, but yeah, that's just a little note for one of our viewers. So there we go.
Probably why he performed so well in this movie.
Right.
Well, some people didn't know it was him, right? Until you saw the credits.
I didn't even notice.
Right. I wouldn't have known if I hadn't known that it was Nicolas Cage as Longlegs. I wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have.
Okay, so I'll go next. One of my big cons is that I was a little disappointed, like in my research, to know that Longlegs didn't have a deeper meaning other than it sounded cool. I'm like, oh, really? I was like, oh, man. I was like, oh, Daddy Longlegs are creepy spiders. And that was pretty much the extent. I'm like, oh, come on, man. I want there to be a mythos behind that. Like, but I would say pro for me. Well, a second con, like I said before, that there were some very Nicolas Cagey moments.
Mhm.
where it's like, dude, you do that every time you do something like that. That was so, and it kind of took me out of the character of Longlegs. But the pro is, other than me wanting more of the story and like even like keeping more of the story away from me, so I can kind of be more surprised by like the elements when they happen. Because it ended up being like part procedural, like Silence of the Lambs, and then it just like right turns it right into like the supernatural cult, which I'm fine with. But it felt like it kind of lost its long legs, no pun intended, halfway through when it like stopped being a mystery and started being just a little bit different. But there was so many cool elements, from the mother being a hoarder, the reveals at the end, the weird metal balls in these dolls' heads. How are they made? Who's making them? How did they get into the house? Why are the parents going crazy? Why is the family dying? I like that. That was left unknown until the very end, which in that way I was like, oh, kudos to you. So that for me was awesome. And what about Brooke? Did you give a pro and con?
No.
Okay, you give it to us.
My pros are everything about the film. I like the film, so it was good. My cons is that it did start off slow, but it took me three tries to get into.
Are you both drinking and vaping? What are you two doing? Are you just not sitting down? Are you washing dishes while the film is running?
I'm on my phone. No, I'm on my phone. I'm addicted to that thing.
So basically, if I force you to both go to the theater to watch this, you probably wouldn't be as like, it was slow, because you'd be forced to eat your popcorn and watch the film.
Yeah, it's very much a popcorn eating film.
It really is.
It is.
Although I usually eat all my popcorn before the previews are done, but that's just me.
But
I do have another favorite.
I do have another favorite. Okay, when he takes the axe and he's killing the mom, I think that part was awesome. I don't know why, but that was awesome. All the blood.
Because you were a sick individual. That is why. You found it awesome. Yeah, there was some violence. There was, I don't know, there's just something about every performance that was so weird and cool. Like the mom's catatonic states and very like withdrawn isolationism was fantastic. She as an agent, like having quasi psychic powers or half psychic powers was interesting. That we can like kind of go into and figure out. I was like, oh, that's where it came from, and kind of her like kind of autistic way of like interaction, like very socially awkward. Blair Underwood's performance is like that hard nosed, rational, boss. And then Longlegs just being like a crazy, don't know where that person's coming from, where they're going to go, how they got to the way they're going. Like I said, I wish there was like little news clipping articles. We did see those, but about Longlegs himself. Like kind of like the dossier and like who this, was it Dale Cobble was his name? It was like, where did he come from? What's he about? Like as a person, like in his youth, what was his deal? I would love to have like learn more about that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Well, as long as we all agree. and since we all agree, then I guess we need to rate this thing. And so I, as keeper of the film, will say, Carly.
Yes.
What do you rate this film?
I rate it a solid 4.5. Price is Right ending.
All right. I don't even know what to make of that at the moment.
When it was happening is when she was coming in looking for her mother.
Yeah, that's true.
Hear The Price is Right.
That's true. Right, that is true. Brooke.
I'm gonna rate it. What did you rate it, Carly?
4.5.
4.5.
Don't you bogart her ratings.
Mine is gonna be a 5. I like the film.
Ooh.
So
But the first time you watched it, it was only a 3. The second time you watched it, it was a 3.5.
I watched it, it was a 4.5.
So why? So it's a 5. Is perfect.
5 what?
5.
Yeah, 5 what?
Perfect. 5 14th birthdays, I guess.
All right.
Ooh.
I was gonna say inverted triangles, but why is it perfect, Brooke?
It's just a great storyline. Like the whole story is amazing. Watch it. It's good.
Just watch it.
Just watch it.
Okay. And I it's so sad to kind of degrade your rating because you want more of it. That seems like a terrible reason to dock points. But there were some things, like I said, Nicolas Cage out of character for that split second in the station wagon with his mother, father. Like he was doing that, and that's so Nick Cage. And I'm like, ugh, you should have done something different. So I instantly stopped saying Longlegs and started saying Nick Cage. So I'll take points off for that. I wanted more. I wanted more to be left off the table for later. Give me a little, not everything. So I'll dock points for that. So all that being said, I'm going to give this 4.75. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And I have to say that it was just, like I said, I was not disappointed at all in this film. Like I said, other than just if you would just given me just a little bit, I would have loved it more. It would have been a 5, but it's definitely worth watching if you're a fan of the psychological horror genre of anything that's like Silence of the Lamb-esque, because it's got that vibe to it. Like any kind of Zodiac serial killer motif is kind of get you in the ballpark. I think you would like it. I now want to tell you there's so much more to this film other than the Satan shadows and all. I mean, come on. When she finds him and goes to see him for the interview, the way that ends up is freaking fantastic. I want to know what happens next. This is one of those films that we'll probably never get a sequel. We'll probably never get a breakdown of what happens to all the characters as it moves forward. I would love to find out what the reality is of the thing. What
if they have a prequel before?
I mean, I would like a prequel, although Nick Cage already said he's not doing any more serial killer movies. So I don't know if that precludes this franchise if it becomes one. But yeah, definitely, I would love to see the origin story of would be fantastic. Because in all reality, until Longlegs gets more accomplices, I'm not sure how he got into anybody's house. Just that's what I'm saying. One other thing I want to point out is that there was fantastic music. There was a lot of stuff in the musical scoring that was done in reverse. There was a lot of the cuckoo sounds were in the scores. There's a lot of things that were done intentionally to really raise the creepy factor in this film. I think a lot of it we didn't recognize or see. It was so subtle, but just so effective. I mean, it was so subtle I didn't even know until it was pointed out to me. So in that way, I really, really love the film in that way. And so in my last minute or two before we find out who's next, which I think is Brooke, I'll find out what your film is next. What else can I give about the film? Did you know that Osgood Perkins is Anthony Perkins' son?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that Psycho actor Anthony Perkins is this director's father. So
nice.
Yeah. So I thought that was very cool. And some of the things that brought out this film, because Anthony Perkins was a closeted gay man and his mother kind of hid the truth from him to try to give the kid a normal life. Some of that was semblance in the mother in this film trying to protect her child at all costs from the truth. So that was kind of the germination of how this got written by Osgood. And I thought that was very super cool. And just as well, Nicolas Cage did part of his performance based on the psychology of his mother, because she was kind of schizophrenic, and he kind of used that relationship for his own performance. So a lot of familial things happening here that I thought was very, very cool. Not the fact that they faced that trauma in their youth, but the fact that they used it in this film.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll say adieu to this film of Longlegs, and we'll find out from Miss Brooke. Miss Brooke, what film are we doing next?
The Substance.
The Substance.
Yep.
Woohoo!
All right. And I hear this is another one of these movies.
Yeah, this is a
that
new movie.
everybody's talking about.
It's
With
so
Demi
good.
Moore.
Demi Moore, really?
What?
Yeah,
Oh wow! I need to watch this.
it's so good. It's new. It just came out, so it's
Okay.
new. So
It's
no
new.
spoilers.
So it's the voodoo.
Yeah, it's on Voodoo.
Some voodoo. Okay. We already know this with Demi Moore. Who else is in the film, Brooke?
Her name is, dang, if you wouldn't have asked me, her name is she's what's her name's daughter, Annie McDowell's daughter. I forgot her name. Damn it. If you wouldn't have asked me.
I mean, I could look up the cast list if this is going to be so important, and I'll do that right now. You guys can soft shoe it while I'm looking. Cast. All right, so we got Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis
Margaret
Quaid.
Qualley.
Okay, there you go. Hugo Diego Garcia. Who else do I know from this group? Tiffany Hofstetter. Don't know her. So, I mean, you got a couple names in this thing. I don't know anybody else on this list because I'm out of touch. But yes, it has been touted as being a fantastic body horror film with a lot
It's
of
kind of gross, so Carly.
Carly.
I'm ready.
Oh, you ready for the body horror?
Sure.
I heard it's supposed to be one of the best. I hope I'm not disappointed because expectations. But yet I was not disappointed in Longlegs. So what can you tell us, Brooke, of this film, The Substance? You said you have seen it.
Yeah,
What else can you give us? Give us a little taste, a little tease.
Okay, well, Demi Moore is like turning 50, so she's getting too old for her job that she has.
Oh.
So she finds this medicine or whatever called the substance, and it brings out your inner beauty. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. And we all know how that turns out in horror films.
It's not good.
Never is good. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to give one final word on Longlegs. Again, I say see it, stream it. It's worth your time if you're a fan of the genre. I think we all can attest that it was done very well. The story was very solid. Performances were really good. Again, there may be some things you're like, really? But I think overall, they may gloss over some things and they may feed you things too soon. But I think overall, it's a very, very fine film. But with that, I think who else is fine is you two. Because put that right there in my pocket for later, so I can take it out and slap myself in the face with it. So I don't know what the kids are doing these days. I'm gonna do it like that. Because every genre, every generation has a different way of doing it. I'm gonna just have a sign with a heart on it.
Yeah, I think I'll do that too.
I think I'm gonna get a little signs and say boo. I'll say Brooke saw it 3 times. I'll just have little signs for everything. So with that, my dear hearts, Brooke, I love you. Have a great evening. Adieu. Carly, always awesome. Always great that you're here so early every day. So keep bringing it. And to you, our amazing audience, thank you so much for listening and watching. And don't forget that we are always here to scare you later.